Hi, I've got a division review for you today. I'm just going to go through the problems, kind of like I'm a fourth grader, and I'm just going to be thinking aloud as I do so. Afterwards, we're going to take a look at a couple of story problems that are using division, and then I'm going to set you to work on your own for today. All right, so if you take a look, I have 95 divided by 5. My first thought here, I am going to be dividing. So I know that I'm looking to see how many 5s are in this first digit of 9, okay? I have 1 because if I count up to 2, 5, 10, that's bigger than the digit 9. So I'm going to do 9 divided by 5 is 1. Multiply down our division house. 1 times 5 is 5. My next step is to subtract. And when I do that, I'll have 9 minus 5, and it equals the difference of 4. I'm going to bring down my 5. I now have a new number, and it's the number 45, and I'm going to ask myself what 45 divided by 5 is. In other words, how many groups of 5 are in 45? Knowing my facts quickly, I can tell you that it's 9. And when I multiply back down the house, 9 times 5 is 45. I'm going to subtract and have 0 remaining. That means, everyone, that if I had 95, let's say M&Ms, and I was dividing that amongst 5 children and I wanted to make sure that I had equal groupings, it would mean that each child got 19 M&Ms. Division is about equal groups. What I'm going to do for you now is to take a look at an example problem, okay? So we're going to go to number 1. I'm going to read this out loud to you now. It says, Jordan has 3 Great Dane puppies. At 6 weeks old, their combined weight is 48 pounds. Assuming that they all weigh about the same amount, how much does each puppy weigh? I'm going to ask you to skip over the estimate for right now, and we're just going to go right to it. Now, there are 3 numbers in here, and that means that you're going to have to pay attention. It just doesn't mean that we pick any numbers and pick an operation randomly and do an equation. We actually have to think about what is important information, what number is not useful in our solving the problem here, and then we proceed then. So if I take a look, I see that Jordan has 3 Great Dane puppies. At 6 weeks old, their combined weight is 48 pounds. Now, what I need to know is that there are 3 puppies and together they weigh 48 pounds. It doesn't matter for this problem how old they are. So this 6 weeks doesn't really matter. Okay, now knowing that they are the same amount is helpful. That means I can divide 48 pounds among 3 different puppies. So my equation is going to be this: 48 divided by 3, and you can pick any unknown. I'm going to pick P for the word pound. You do know that the abbreviation for pound is LB. But 48 divided by 3. To show my work, I'm going to do my little division house here. 48 divided by 3. And what I do is I say to myself, okay, how many groups of 3 are in this first digit 4? And that's going to be 1. I'm going to put my 1 up here. 1 times 3 is 3. When I subtract, because that's my next step, I'm going to do 4 minus 3 equals 1. Bring down my 8, and I have a new number, 18. I'm going to do that whole process again. 18 divided by 3 is 6, and 6 times 3 is 18. When I subtract, I have 0 left, and I can say definitively that each puppy weighs 16 pounds. 48 divided by 3 is 16. Now, please remember that there's always a way to check out to see if you are correct. You can certainly do 16 times 3, and if it gives you the product of 48, you know that you have done your math calculation right. And I know that. 16 times 3 is indeed 48. All right, so that's one problem. I'm going to do one more for you now and then set you on your assignment. It says, 4 sisters love Bretts. They have a value pack that contains 92 Bretts. How many Bretts can each sister have if they share equally? So once again, I'm asking you, just for the time being, to get rid of the estimate. And we are going to do 92 divided by 4. 92 in all, and there's 4 sisters. So what I'm going to do here is I say to myself, okay, how many groups of 4 are in 9? I know that there are 2 groups. 2 times 4 is 8. And when I subtract, I'm going to get a difference of 1. I'll bring down my 2. My new number is 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And once I divide, I'm going to multiply and go back down this house. 3 times 4 is 12. When I subtract, I don't have any left over, and it means that each of those sisters will have 23 Bretts. Boys and girls too, I want to make sure that I put the number model with the unknown. And what I did over here, this is the work for 92 Bretts divided equally among 4 sisters. And my unknown in this case for me is going to be B. All right, so please make sure that you read your assignment carefully, and I expect you to do very well. Give it everything you've got. Please make sure that you check the resource of the division steps. Bye, everybody.